Good morning, Quasar Markets Live. I told you, special guest, Scott Bauer, CEO of Press for Trading. How are you, Scott?
Happy Monday, everybody. A Bears win yesterday. I am great.
The Bears have been on a nice run here. They beat my team, and I'm not happy. Hey, Scott, we saw the NEC Economic Director, Budget Director of the White House says today that the government shutdown could end this week. You agree with him?
I don't know if I agree with him or not, and it's hard to think that there's maybe not some sort of political wrangling there because people are getting a little uneasy, on edge, and I think the administration is maybe taking some heat. Both sides, not just the administration, but both sides. So to me, and I'm not sitting on any of the meetings on the inside. I think you got to take it with a grain of salt, and I wouldn't put a lot of stock in it right now.
Yeah, I mean, Kalshi says that this thing should last till way past Thanksgiving. Could be the longest one in history. Both sides are digging in. Trump doesn't care. Trump's using it as a cover to fire people in the government. Obviously the Democrats are digging into for the healthcare ACA bill. They don't want that to lapse. So there's some serious big picture issues here. But we are seeing the Qs pushing higher here this morning. Interestingly enough, two pieces that I kind of want to talk about is the world was ending for Bitcoin roughly on Thursday.
72 hours ago or so, or 96 hours ago.
Yep. And we're already back to 111. I mean, we all bought the dip on that and continue to buy the dip all weekend. And you saw the second piece I want to talk about is oil. WTI now under $56 a barrel. That means the world's falling apart. We need oil to make the economy move, right? I mean, when you see $56 a barrel, I mean, at this point now, $55.97, that's a problem. Is this really are these things really talking about the economy in general, or is this the outliers?
Bitcoin, I think, is its own animal, and I still don't believe, even though we've gotten so far into the cycle now, right? This thing has been mainstream trade, let's call it, for 5 years, even though it's been around longer, right? So I still don't know that we really have the fundamentals behind Bitcoin of how it trades, whether it is the replacement for gold, whether it is just another risk-on asset class. So I don't know that we can really still yet have a economic base case for Bitcoin. Oil, on the other hand, I really think this still comes down to the fact, and Steve, you know this, we have talked about this. I have pounded the table on this for a year on every news interview I've been on, is global demand is just not there.
Yeah.
We have record levels of output, and global demand is not there. And at the end of the day, basic economics works. Basic economics wins out, supply and demand. Right now, we still have a massive oversupply. So where is that balance going to be? Where is that equilibrium going to be from a price standpoint?
Yeah.
This is where I have talked about for the longest time, mid-50s. Now, does that mean that we're going to bounce from there? I don't know. But yeah, I think you got to look at this, and it's certainly something to be concerned about.
Yeah, I mean, looking at USO right now, the oil fund, 66.68 here in the early trade. Wow, it's not been here since I have to go back all the way to April of this year, and go back even further on USO. We'd have to go way back. Continually seeing this thing sell off is a bother. Also seeing the 10-year underneath 4% again. That means that money is flowing, institutional money is flowing into the rates, as well as I think everyone on the planet now thinks that we're going to get in the rate cut. Almost sure for it now, right?
Well, we'll find out on Wednesday. That's for sure. And how much of that is already baked in, right? What does the market do? What's the reaction if we do get another quarter cut, which is likely? It's like, is the market going to like that, or is it going to, like always, come down to what does Powell say? What does the outlook look like? I mean, Steve, do you expect him to say anything but we know the labor market is tightening? It's getting more difficult.
How do they know the labor market's tightening if there's no data?
Well, but that's what they're going to say. I agree. There's no data, but that's still what they're going to say. Yeah. And that muddies the waters even more on this one. Is whatever the Fed's reaction is, whatever their commentary is, they're looking at data that's 4 or 6 weeks old. So it's a tough scenario overall economically, but the market doesn't care. It is a Teflon market right now, which scares the hell out of me.
Right. I agree with that 100%. All right, let's get to it. Silver 52.62, gold 43.22. Gold and silver not stopping. We saw some profit taking on Thursday and Friday. Maybe some options on that too as well. But pushing right back up. That tells you the economy is not good, right? I mean, you're still seeing more countries buying gold.
They are, waiting out the door. Especially talking to our friend Peter Thomas about the situation. Yeah, they're waiting out the door. But is that just a I have trouble. I really have trouble really deciphering whether that is the pile-on or whether there is something deeper here. And then which everyone says. I mean, right? You can't read a headline without it saying this is the biggest warning sign ever. And I just don't know, quite honestly.
Wow, that's a big save when it's coming out of Scott Bauer's mouth. Okay. Let's get to it. We've been talking about Apple here for a while.
Yeah.
I've been saying, hey, listen, I did something. I think we talked about that several times. I actually am an Apple fan now. I can't believe I'm saying that after 3 decades of not using Apple products. iPhone 17 could be the biggest phone ever sold, according to Apple. Yep.
That's what they're saying. Their ecosystem, Steve, is still what it is. Whether they go through one cycle with one phone maybe not being as popular as another one, it's still the whole ecosystem.
Right.
You got your iPhone, you got your iPad, you're on iOS, I mean, that's
and services.
So they touch every aspect of your life, which is what they wanted to do, and they're successful at it. And even with the last recent run, I'm looking at Apple closed 252. So even with that run from 200 to this level here, that kind of just got them maybe on par with some of the other biggies. And now you're seeing all these upgrades here based on the iPhone 17. And, they may make a really, really big run here. The stock's up 2% this morning. That's a big move.
Yeah, I mean, in the 52-week high, I guess all-time high will be 260.10, right? You're not that far.
Knocking on the door.
Knocking on the door, yes. I mean, we now see a forward PE ratio of 32.7, which is not that high for a tech company of that size, right? I mean,
for Apple, I think historically that's high, but overall for a tech company that size, you're right, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, and we're at 3.74 cap here trillion. Are they a $4 trillion company soon?
Are they? Well, I'm sorry,
$4 trillion? $4 trillion company soon?
I mean, if this continues, probably. I mean, I got to think if there's a company out there that justifies it, if you can, justify the word justify, they've got to fit the bill.
That's a hard justification there. Yeah, and we're talking about CNBC now talking about it right now. Rare earths here, still extending their rallies. It does seem that China is backing down a bit. That Trump is taco trade is back on. That possibly we don't have to worry. Yeah, maybe. What are your thoughts here? I mean, do we get a deal here with China? Are we going to play nice here?
I don't. I don't know. I'm a very, very big glass half full optimistic guy, but I'm also a realistic guy, and I just don't see. I don't see China backing down. Could we frame it as if? Okay, we beat them. We got something we wanted. Sure, but I don't see them backing down.
And I'm going to pull up a chart here of antimony. Those of you are not playing along here, share my screen here. Yeah, this is a daily chart of UAMY. Now up to about $13. We saw the run. This is a daily chart, so we saw the run a few days ago. Pulling back over last week, and now starting to see the push back up again as we're not sure about You can also look at right, Energy Fuels, another company like that, up almost 6% here as well over that last week. If I pull up a monthly chart, we really haven't seen this kind of run except back in 2010, 2011. So there is room to run. This could be one of those that just takes off. And of course, when Energy Fuels first came out, this was a $200 stock. So we could see another push for rare earths. Yeah.
Again, though, we're in this we're in this cycle that we see massive moves in particular sectors based on what is the hot sector of the day or the week.
Right.
And is this one of them, or is this just the start of the rare earth mineral, the rare earth cycle? I'm not sure which it is, honestly. But as a trader, okay, not as an investor,
right?
As a trader, it's great trade. If I'm looking to, put some of my 401k or something longer term, I've got to take a much deeper look and really kind of think about, is this where I want my money to be? But in terms of trading for, having a position for a day, a week, whatever it is, it's fantastic.
All right, you have something cool coming up here. Let's talk about that a bit. I'm going to pull this up for everybody so you can see it. And I'm excited about doing it because I will actually be there.
You absolutely will be. We can't wait.
Yeah, and it's happening in 50 days. For those of you out there that are looking to have the ultimate trader's experience, Prosper Trading is, and I know this for a fact, put on an amazing expose. And of course, listen, when I talk about going to conferences, I don't like boring conferences. And the wives and the husbands don't like going to boring conferences when they go too. So let's go to Vegas. Let's go throw some bones and see how it works out. But Scott, tell me a little bit about what's going on at in Vegas.
Absolutely, and this will be the ultimate, work hard, play hard type of event. So we are inviting people to join the Prosper team and big time people in the industry, such as yourself, to really get a handle on trading and get a handle on the markets. Trade with us live, learn our strategies, real time, sit with us, analyze with us. You're going to get all of the educators here. Plus, like we said, yourself, you're going to be, speaking to all the wisdom that you bring and your style of trade. So we're going to have a full jam-packed 2 days, bell to bell of training, of teaching, of education. And then, the fun stuff comes in with an outing to Top Golf and dinners and all your other stuff that comes with Vegas. So we are really, really excited for it. We have 25 spots left. That is it. Everything is included here. You just got to get yourself there. Everything else, once you hit the ground, is included, and it is going to be a fantastic event.
Yeah, and I put the link in the here so everybody can see it. I'm going to put it up there too as well. Prosper Trading, the trading experience in Vegas. You've got some serious headliners here, including yourself. But Aidan O'Connell, quarterback.
Aidan O'Connell, Raiders quarterback, will be there. Yes, OJ Rennick will be there. Yourself, the SIBO is along with Quasar Markets. The SIBO is sponsoring this, so there's going to be lots of info from the SIBO. They will be there talking about zero DTEs and the rise and the popularity of zero DTEs and the SPX and how to trade them. So the fact that they got behind us as well, besides Quasar, pretty massive.
Yeah, I mean, you put on a pretty good event, and I mean, we're talking about Vegas. We're talking about the win, and we're talking about how to really learn how to trade. I think a lot of people when they're going through life early, they're not always sure if they're going to go to school or they're going to go to life experiences, and sometimes they forget that trading, you still need the education, right? You got to pay for that same way, and this is one of the best ways of doing that. So listen, I'm going to be there. I'm giving it the Quasar Markets stamp of approval, folks. And I will be there speaking, I guess, I guess I got an hour. I just noticed that. So I'm looking forward to that. And here, look, I put it once again. It's in the link here.
Yep.
Click on that link and check it out. You can all see that too as well. Get right back to it. And I want to pull up. This is the QQQ here in the morning. Scott, it looks like we've got another good day here.
Yeah, Q's up almost 4 points. But 60 basis points, that's a nice move. And we got SPOO's up 30 points, about 0.5%. So all is well in the world, they say, Steve. Not a care in the world.
Yeah, but what if you say, well, my point is that only a few stocks are holding up the whole Qs and whole economy, like Nvidia and Apple and Microsoft, and the rest of the world just isn't doing it.
The rest of the world is not doing it. That is correct, and that's why at the top here, 15 minutes ago, I said this is what concerns me. So
yeah,
listen, I think it's okay to be along for the ride here, but as we always talk about, Steve, you got to have those bullets. You got to have some protection, even if it goes out worthless. That's fine.
Yep. And over the weekend, I was getting lots of phone calls and texts and messages asking me about Bitcoin. Should I be buying it now? Should I be buying it now? And the answer to me is always yes. But to me, I've been complaining about the fact that we are now living in a K economy. And I think a lot of people don't really understand what the K economy is. I'll give a speech on that too as well. But it's not this economy. I mean, people think the economy is the stock market. I've heard several people say, hey, the stock market's up. That's what the economy is. It's not.
Yeah, because you got to remember the stock market is owned, the upper demographic, right, owns, 85, 90% of what's out there, right?
40% of Americans have at least one share of stock, and 10% of that wealth is concentrated. So
yeah, exactly.
It doesn't mean the economy. But talk to me a little bit. You're in Chicago. Is the world? I mean, according to the president, the world's burning down in Chicago. That's the troops in the streets. Is that happening in Chicago?
You really want to go there?
Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
Okay. No, it's not. Are there pockets of the city, just like every other big city, where there is historically crime and there is historically, bad things that happen? Yes. Is the city burning down? No, it's a crock of what. It really is. I am down there, Steve, as you know, just about every day. I'm in the Board of Trade, right in the heart of it. My entire family lives in the heart of the city.
Right.
So I invite anybody to come see it and come experience it. No, it's
I'll be there.
A lot of grandstanding. You're going to be there in about a week and a half or 2 weeks or so, right?
Yeah, I'm coming down for Halloween and some rugby, and I want to see it myself. I mean, I do like Chicago. I love the city. I love New York. I love cities. I love all the high life. But you're right. But Lincoln Park and Cabrini Green and those places that we knew and grew up with are gone. Like they're not. Those pockets are gone, right?
Again, you can pick any city you want, and you can find an area that you're going to tell your loved ones, your friends, your family, don't go there. Stay away. Right? Stay away. And it's no different here. Yeah, honestly, it is no different here. Chicago is wonderful. It is vibrant. It is thriving again post-COVID. I mean, you cannot believe how vibrant it is. You go down to the city, and especially we've had like amazing weather this fall, but you go down there and it is just jam-packed everywhere. The restaurants are thriving, and which I guess also goes to the economy a little bit as well. But no, the city is great. The city is not on fire.
Okay, good to hear. Let's talk about that a little bit. When you look at the and if you can pull up your charts too as well, we'll throw your charts in as well. But let's talk about that for a second as we get into the markets. What are you thinking this morning? We hear all these things. The world's burning, and we're going to send troops in. Ukraine, you hear about China, you hear about rare earths, all the bad things. Last week, we heard several times from my friend Steve Flanagan saying, go find the good things. All right. So Scott, tell me, what are the good things out there that are happening that are, why are the markets pushing up?
That's a really good question, Steve. I think interest rates is the biggest part of this, in that people may be overestimating what lower rates bring, which scares me. That is a good thing, right? Lower rates means we can get cheaper mortgages, we can get cheaper auto loans. It typically will spur the economy because people can borrow money more cheaply and then spend it. But we always have to be careful why rates may be going down, and if that is a subset of the fact that the economy is not healthy, then that is not a good thing. But for right now, the markets are taking that as a good thing. Again, I'm separating markets and economy. The markets are looking at that as a good thing. What else is out there that the markets might like? Earnings, we have them right now. Bank earnings were decent. Does that mean there still aren't possibilities for drawdowns across the board coming up? I mean, this is a really important week for earnings. Sure, there could be, but underneath it all here again, and this is, maybe my trader mentality, you always have to be cautious. You always have to be cautious. And I am really cautious now, Steve. Not cautious to the point where I'm short everything. I'm not. Full disclosure, I'm not. But I certainly have my protection that if the
But you are short some things then, right?
I am short some things.
Okay, what are you short?
I am short puts in the VIX, meaning that I believe the VIX is going to stay here or go higher. I am synthetically short in the Qs and the S&Ps, but that's by way of owning downside puts.
Okay.
So I'm not outright shorted, but I do have that protection.
They're protecting, yeah, of course.
Massive amounts of protection. And if it goes out worthless, it goes out worthless. Great. So my big wins will be just, wins that are a little bit smaller, and I'm fine with that.
And are you selling puts out there? Or are you?
I'm selling puts in the VIX because I don't think the VIX is going to really be going down that much. Am I selling puts in equities or in certain stocks? I sure did last week. On the big drawdown, not across the board, but there were certainly pockets like at Goldman Sachs that after earnings in the stock, it was great earnings and the stock just got absolutely annihilated. I sold put spreads. I would never sell naked puts. I sold put spreads, and they disintegrated.
What spread did you put on?
Yeah, so it expired last week. Actually, we sold the 745, 735 put spread. And at the time we sold it, the stock was down at like 740, 741. So it was actually through the long strike or through the short strike.
Yeah.
This was right after earnings. So yeah, this was, I'll tell you exactly what day it was. It was on the 17th. No, it wasn't the 17th. It was on what day was earnings here? Whenever it was. It was the 14th. Stock traded down to 742, 743. We sold the 745, 735 put spread for like $5 or $6 credit.
Yep.
I mean, okay, if Goldman goes down more and I got to either cover the put spread or own the stock, I'm good with that. And that thing just disintegrated. So, I look for that volatility. I look for spots where a stock may have bottomed out. And quite frankly, on the flip side to that, on American Express, after the big run up on Friday, we're shorted now. We're shorted through call spreads, not outright short, but we're shorted through call spreads.
Yeah.
So, just look for those opportunities. We got the market opening in
you beat me to
a minute and a half, and I know my students are clamoring for me.
Yep. Go ahead, do your thing.
I'm going to do my thing, and I appreciate it. And we will see you on the next one.
See you, Scott.
Thank you, sir.
And I am just about to look at Tesla here, folks. For those of you, thanks, Scott, for all that. I'm going to pull my sharing down. There we go. I am looking at Tesla this morning here. As you all know, I'm thinking very seriously about shorting it again here on the open. It seems like it's up about 1%. I don't know what I'm going to look at just yet, but here we go. 444 looks like I am. And I will be at the event at Prosper Trading. So for those of you, I do have a speaking engagement. I'll be talking about Quasar markets and some things that I see in the markets right now, and what I'm envisioning for the next year, as well as the next version of what we're looking at for Quasar markets. So we have some exciting things coming in the next month. You'll see it's going to be a game changer. And we'll talk about that here in the next few weeks, but looking forward to that. All right, keeping my eye here. We got about 30 seconds now here to the open. Tesla 444.11 here. I'm going to pull up. Yeah, might be and I am, yep. Short Tesla here. Wow. Pushing down 442.36. I'm not liking this this move here. Yeah. Okay. I'm still staying going short Tesla. I think it's pushing up a little bit here. Qs are trying to push a bit here. I am shorting again here on Tesla. I don't like this number here. Bitcoin pushing a little bit here, 110.830. I did sell a lot in the overnight. For those of you who did not know, I did sell some of that money that I had been buying on Tesla or on Bitcoin over the last few weeks here. I've seen a little bit of a push here, the upside. Tesla's pushing up a little bit. Ooh. All right, and select short there, 443. Yeah, okay. Somewhere around 443 is where I'm at. Little higher on me here a little bit. I think we're okay. Yeah, there comes the selling again. Wow, that's fast. Okay. Oh, wow. All right. Keeping our eyes peeled like a Navy SEAL. Buy the cover here. Look at that selling, folks. Look at that selling there. Yeah, baby. Could be some more selling there. I think they're trying to push it down even further here. And no, I don't want to get too greedy here because it, but all right. AMD up 2% here. Quick early morning trade here. Palantir up 0.5%. Interesting enough, Ripple's up 3% here in the early trade. In our cash trade here on our side of the ETFs. VIX down about 5% here. Could see a drop here in Tesla. Looks like some people are still trying to take some profit here. Qs are pushing up a little bit. Yeah, there we go. There's your Tesla short. One more try to the downside. And I did take profit there. All right, we've done it again every single morning. We pretty much nailed Tesla every single morning since we've been working on that Wow. Oh, nice move. And Tesla's still selling off. So for those of you followed me into that trade again, we did it again. Why is it? Why? Because I think there's some people that are in there that are trying to take some profit off. We're now seeing the tick now pushing higher here now, up 344. So be careful out there if you're keep watching it. Dollar yen now 150.74 as the dollar continues to push higher. Dixie here. C3 AI now up 3.38% there. So yeah, silver 52.46. So all those things we've been talking about are now coming to fruition. So yeah, another good morning here. Quasar Markets, we've hit it again and again and again and again. Why am I easily seeing this market? Because quite frankly, the markets are pretty volatile here. And I say volatile. It's not volatile as like the world's ending. But it is volatile in the way that there's a lot of zero DTEs. There's a lot of movement going on right now. And I really do feel like this market is over its skis again. But we're still pushing higher. Here reports that the Hamas says they're going to hand over another hostage body at 8 o'clock local time there. So that should be coming up. Yeah, pretty soon there. Oh, Tesla falling again here. Maybe I should maybe we should yeah. Maybe I should keep watching Tesla here as on this bounce here. I will share all of my screens. For those of you who don't know, I do keep a certain. There we go. There you go. Things on my radar so that I know an overall picture. One screen is just this: Qs, gold, dollar, whatever I'm trading here, Bitcoin or Tesla. What I'm watching the tick because the tick keeps me in check to see what's really going on. Tick's up 400 right now. WTI oil. I wanted to buy USO this morning. I thought very seriously about buying USO, but oil. Listening to Scott talk about oil, silver there 52.27. Could see 54.55 soon, but the 10-year now under the four handle once again. So all of these things are telling me that just not really there yet. I'm going to pull up Bitcoin here in the corner. I'm going to keep my eye off of it. Look at that Bitcoin falling off this morning, almost 111,000 this morning. Again, when I think the market's selling off, and I did over the last week, I like that. I wanted to be the ticker taker. I was buying heavily into Bitcoin. I was actually a little heavy, so it was making me very nervous. And so I took some of that profit off this morning, 3 o'clock this morning when we hit 11.3. We have not gone back there yet. I might do it again, but this is the 10-second chart. I'm going to pull up a 3-minute chart. Why? That's Wall Street. There it is. See, we're looking at this buy signal here. So this could be it for the selling, but I'm just not sure as there was a lot of profit taking, and we don't know. We know this guy named Lin is out there shorting the markets in Bitcoin, so I'm very careful with this one here until he covers that short. Q 609.37 is still making highs here. I'm looking at this as we're now seeing the Dow up over Nasdaq. Wow, Nasdaq was over 200 points to the upside here. Russell up even 1.4%. So small caps are even pushing higher on this too as well. Wow, look at this. Tesla is struggling here this morning. AMD now pulling back only up 1.3%. This could be the end of it for the Qs here as we look like we're selling just a little bit here. Tick up 433, 477. So let's keep our eye here. This might be the end of this run here. Apple now up 2.4% this morning, and you can see that too as well. Oops, sorry about that. There we go. Apple still pushing higher here on the 3-minute chart, 258.37. I mean, we've been talking about Apple for a while, right? I mean, I've been saying that Apple is the key here, and are people buying the iPhone 17 Plus? I did. First time in 3 decades that I actually bought an Apple phone. And I have the watch, and I have an iPad, and I've got everything Apple, including services, and now my parents. So it's like, I see it. I see where the changes have now. I've been watching a lot of videos, how to keep up in the iOS, and all of that, and in the ecosystem. And what I'm finding is the very same thing, right? Is that there is a lot of people that are liking the new iPhone. So, and I think we're going to see that. And I think Apple is proving that in the stock price. There it is. And of course, earnings now coming in 10 days. So I think people are really betting on whether or not that we're going to see good earnings out of Apple. And I think the answer is yes. Getting back to Tesla there, 443.09. Still rough morning on Tesla. Not quite there yet. But I think what's happening in Tesla, every morning you're seeing a top and a bottom. And now you trade this two area here. I'll try to do that, make it easier for everybody here. There we go. You can see here that you've now got your tops and your bottoms here. Now you can trade it all day long, actually. There it is. There's your 445.95 all the way down to 441.02, which is about where I got out at. I'll to the actual number. It was a nice little run to the downside. So I think this is your trading range. Keeping our eye here on the dollar. Dixie now looks like the Dixie's trying to push up a little bit even more here. 98.57. C. Flanagan still liking the dollar here. One that I've been talking about quite a bit, and I know people haven't been really understanding it, including myself, is Domino's Pizza, DPZ. They've been making a run with marketing here over the last 6 months, and it's paying off for them. I'll pull up a daily chart. It has paid off for them, and they did make a nice run not too long ago. I think you showed it here. And when it broke out to the downside after those earnings came out, I like this. You can see here in the day, look at this. Boom. You're starting to see a little bit of buyers here. If you're looking for some options, you can see some call buying here in this pretty soon. I do like the Dom. Not the biggest fan of the pizza. I do like it every once in a while. But this could get right back into that triangle there, 460. So if you're looking for a maybe possibly play here, not going all the way, but maybe the 440 calls here. I kind of do like that. Maybe a call spread here. All right, throw me some stocks up there if you like. Anything you're interested in talking about, let me know. I'm happy to go over those this morning. Howard is out this morning. I'm here for you. McDonald's, another one here. Mickey D's. There you go. As you know, I've been watching Mickey D's, bouncing off all of my plays here. Has been nailing McDonald's here. I think McDonald's is kind of done in this area. I think we'll see another pullback. But 290 to 320 is where the range has been. You can see there's your range, 325 all the way down to 276. And right here is the mid-range. So this is, I know there's a lot of colors on my screens, and I understand it. So what I'm showing here is where we're at. Good morning, Steve Flanagan. Steve, if you're out there early, Howard's out this morning. So if you want to come in and talk about the dollar and the Dixie and get down to it, come on in, my man. All right. Going to pull up CoreWeave, another one that I really have been keeping my eye on a little bit lately. CoreWeave could see a major pullback here in the next few days. This is the daily chart on CoreWeave. It's struggling up here. But if I look at AI in general, C3 itself, it has been a nice bounce play when it got sold off not too long ago. So from 15 up to about 20 was a nice play, but it seems to be settling in here. So is the AI play over with? Not even close. Not even close. Royal Caribbean. Look at that. 304.05. Remember when we were playing that back during COVID? I was under 100. I was happy to buy under 100. Seems to be a little higher, and I'll tell you, I'm getting lots right now. I don't think I'd have to buy a Royal Caribbean cruise. I've got so many free ones. Why? Because they're giving them out to give people on the ship. So I'm a little concerned about Royal Caribbean right now. The charts pretend to be the upside here, but I am seeing it from again. Remember, it's not about charting; it's about seeing the bigger picture. I'm not liking this at all. Royal Caribbean could pull back, and that's me saying it. Big fan of Royal Caribbean. It could have a pullback here. Tesla now, here we go. Top of that range. We'll talk about it. Let's pull that 1 minute chart up there. Yeah. There you go. There's your linear regression. Pulling it up. I think this is the 1 minute chart. Let's go with a 3 minute. You know why. You already know why. I don't have to tell you. There is some buying coming in here. So be careful out there. There you go. But there's your range for the day. So Tesla has been giving you the range. It tells you right where the sell signal is. For those of you who don't know, I do have the sell signals on here. And right now, yeah. And you see BNP Paribas this morning coming up with a coverage of Tesla with a sell rating and a 307 price. 16 buys, 13 holds, and 10 sells. So an averaging at 366. So I think Tesla's over its skis. Remember, Elon Musk is tying his pay to the stock price. And he's been buying the stock up. So at some point, I think some people are going to start taking profit here. And I think it's what you're seeing now. Bitcoin still struggling here, 110.7. I think overnight, this is about where I was selling right in here. Big sell signal to me last night. When it got down to 110.5, I thought about picking some back up. I just can't seem to put my fingers on it right now. This big seller, this whale in there is really bothering me. So we're going to get him. Don't worry. I'm not worried about that. But let him play his game out. Let him do his thing. But this is what we're seeing right here. Look at the daily chart. Your MACD is turning. Everything's turning. Your RCI is turning. Your RSI is turning. So Woody CCI, volume is turning to the upside. You see these big sells, volume? Yeah. You saw them right before the selling happened, right? So big sell, and then boom to the downside. So that is slowed down and the buying is picking up just a wee bit. I'll pull up this is the daily chart. See, 1, 2. So this has stopped. Even this big selling was not even as strong as it had been. So I'm not too scared of this right now. I'm liking this daily chart. It's setting up to go back up to the 120 handle pretty soon. All right, about 15 minutes, top of the hour here. Anybody have any stocks? Ron, you got looking at anything out there? Good morning, Marilyn. Anything out there you're looking at? Boeing getting some good news over the weekend. They've got another 3 more years to get that big Max 777 off the ground and working in good order. We want to see that plane off the ground and running around here. Another one I'm looking at is Uber. We were just talking about Vegas, right? With Prosper Trading being in Vegas, and I'll be there. But you're starting to see Zoox and Waymo and a few others and right now they're doing it for free. They're doing taxis, driverless taxis. No drivers in them. Would you be willing to take a driverless taxi? Yeah. Seeing some movement here on AppLovin, down almost 5%. We're starting to see some of these companies that were high flyers not too long ago. Pull up the 3-minute chart. Look at that. AppLovin might actually be looking for a bottom there. Look at that. AppLovin now, their market cap now 192 billion. Looks like there's some buyers coming into AppLovin here. That's a trade. Yeah, Ron, agreed. Not chasing so many new highs. I agree. I think that's part of the problem, right? Is that there's too many chasers out there, and I can't chase. I'm on the other side. I want to be the guy. I want to be the ticker taker, right? I want to be the one that's literally that's selling, right? I want to be the one who's selling to the buyers here. 608.84 now on the Qs here. So I think we talked about it earlier, right? That this could be the top here, 609.22 on the 3-minute here. Can't seem to get breaking out of this range here. They pull up a daily chart. There you go. We're not making those new highs just yet. We have to get we got 4 points away from the highs, but there's still a little bit of a gap here from Friday. And I'm just not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. To me, it just feels weak. But that's me. Dollar yen still pushing here, 150. Dollar yen there pushing again, 150.81. I loved it there a couple days ago when I got out to 153.27. Looking forward to talking to Steve Flanagan here this morning. That's 9:47. Disney, another one. The K economy, right? We're not seeing that. We need to see young people happy too, going back to the happiest place on earth, and not seeing that as well. All right, here he comes in. I'll give him a second to prepare. All right, you ready? Hey, Steve Flanagan, how are you, brother?
Good morning, Steve. How are we doing today?
All right, dollar yen here, sitting here at 150.81.
I heard you on that, and that was my signal to jump in. Dollar yen, I mean, you've got the LDP forming a coalition here with one of its splinter groups called the JIP, forming a coalition government there. So that's a good thing, because this means that Takahashi will be probably elected as prime minister. And what is that going to mean for us? She's pro-growth, pro-fiscal spending, and pro-stimulus. So
she is, yeah.
I like
and that's you're at odds with some of the other administrations. I mean, they just now said that now the United States, they're going to add a tariff to us, and they're going to make us pay to come in the country now. So they're kind of following the Trump handbook here.
That was Japan, Steve? Yeah. I guess, they're going to be, this is going to be a better partner for the Trump administration. So they're going to be more aligned on policies. However, she is definitely she'll be the first female prime minister, and she's going to assume that pro-Japan type policy, which is going to be well received in Japan.
Yeah, and let me ask the question. I mean, I don't know if you're the expert on Japan, but what's the feeling in Japan? Are people just unhappy with what's going on over there? And then because Ueda was it seemed like he was going to be the guy forever, and out the door he went.
I don't think it's so much that the people are unhappy. There's just a laissez-faire type of attitude towards politics, keeping in mind that the LDP has been the government since the end of World War II. Yep. So, and there have been a number of scandals along the last 20 years that, kind of has anesthetized the population. But, watch the youth movement yet again in Japan. They're looking for change. They're looking for some more pro-type Japanese policies. And I think Takaichi is the one to bring it in. So I'm pretty pro-Japan, although I do see dollar yen trading up initially here because a lot of the position keeping on a higher interest rate out of Bank of Japan at their next meeting probably gets squeezed out of the market. So I am looking for a play up to 152, 153 in the yen.
Yeah, the LDP is. I'm going to pull up I want to pull up my screens here. Sorry, I pull it here. Hope you can see that. This is the LDP's website, and talking about her in general. Pull up, copy this so everybody can see what we're all talking about at the same time. If you also want to look at this as well, there we go. It's interesting because they are the one that's in power for so many years, and it's not the Liberal Democrat Party of the United States that we think of, right? It's a different type of Liberal Democrat, right? That, where they are more pro-policy of business, and the way that they handle business over there. Talk to me a little bit about what you think her first 100 days is going to look like.
Oh boy, that's I think the first 100 days is going to be, fiscal spending. I think Japan may undertake some fiscal spending to stimulate growth. Their economy is coming out of the doldrums. They are beginning to hit the objectives that Bank of Japan had set. Yep. So I'm thinking that you could end up with a very positive type development. Japan is very high tech, as you know, as a frequent traveler over there.
Yep.
You go to a parking garage in Japan, you put your ticket in, and this gigantic elevator machine starts moving your car all around. And next thing you know, your car's, on a platform in front of you. There's a lot of high tech, and I think that could continue. And I think Japan is ready to seize the moment of jumping into this high tech. I do like Japan as an investment. Number one would be United States, 2 would be Japan, 3 would be for the next 6 months, China. I'm a little concerned about China. Their numbers out today were a bit disappointing, with GDP now coming in at 4.8%, under the 5%. This is the weakest growth in a year. And it's based on a weak domestic demand. So Japan or China also the PBOC, the central bank, kicked the can down the road and kept interest rates at 3%. China needs stimulus, and they're in a little bit of a predicament here. So when you hear all the narratives about this trade war between the United States and China, take heart that China needs to get this sorted out, and so does the United States. And back to our discussion from Friday, Steve, working on a few different terms here to call this New World Order. I'm not sure.
I like it.
I've got a couple of them. I have done some research. Globalization 2.0, multipolarity, or the rise of the rest. But I think that we're looking at a situation, we're on the cusp of a breakout here. And I'm very positive. I saw the meetings with the United States and Ukraine. While we're not hearing a lot, what we are hearing is, look, you can face extinction or you can give up some land.
Yeah, and that doesn't sound like the art of the negotiation to me, right?
Well, I think that what we want is the end of the war. This horrible loss of human life.
I don't think Zelensky wants to give up anything, any land there. Let's get real quickly before I do that. One of the things I want to talk about Japan was Ishiba that did this. When you look at Japan, you look at China, the people that are running the Communist Party in China right now are all new people. Really, they're not people who've been there for years and years and years, because pretty much they move them up the land and out the door they go. But Ishiba is different. I mean, this guy is the guy who worked at Mitsui Bank, elected the House of Representatives, parliamentary secretary for their agriculture and forestry, deregulation, transport, ag, defense, policy research, secretary general, steering committee for the Minister of State, and then, of course, president of the LDP. This is a guy that knows his stuff in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
And he's not playing around, right? I mean, this guy I love this part about what's going on there, right?
This is a man that's well connected within Japan.
Yeah.
However, the yen has always been my primary focus in my entire career.
Mm-hmm.
People such as him, with their long-standing connection in government, are the ones that get ensnared in these investigations. So watch him carefully, but he's probably kept in check, because with that much time in the government, there's inevitable that he'll be involved in one of these
scandals.
Corruption scandals that we have. Your point on China, though, Steve, was valid. China is new. And what happened over the weekend was 9 high-ranking military leaders were expelled. That was the Chinese Communist Party that moved in on that, further allowing Xi a little bit of elbow room out there. He is remaking the structure of the Chinese Communist Party. I looked at that as, on the eve of the Xi-Trump meeting, in a couple of weeks, I looked at that as another huge positive. So new leadership kind of, I think, in China, I think is being paved the way. I look at Japan as new leadership, and I think we're going to get a breath of fresh air out of Japan. But Japan also stands as an incredible offset to China from an economic point of view. And so, I think China is well aware of the movement that's been going on around it. And I would look at this as another of those things that I do believe brings Xi and Trump together. And I think the surprise here is going to be a framework or a moving further ahead in this framework. Bessent wouldn't be going over to negotiate unless there was a positive at the end here.
Define a positive for me. You think we have a deal?
I think we have a deal. We already have the structure of a deal. I
Mhm.
think that we are going to move further down the road in that structure. It's a very complex thing, but I do think what we'll see is that the raw materials, the rare earth materials, I think that as a tool, I think that that'll move aside. I think that you will see soybeans probably
Mm.
also moved aside. I think a number of the issues that are out there in the front right now will be moved aside, and we'll move to the next level of, more tech trading between us.
Yeah.
And I think, Steve, that is a huge positive. And that's why, when I begin to think of that term, the New World Order, that's kind of like an old thing, and it's based on the United States. I really think that the rise of the rest is the way that we should be looking at the world, because you get a U.S., as Besant had said, look, we're looking to partner with China.
Yeah.
We're not looking to monopolize high tech. We're looking to share. The world is moving rapidly into tech. Steve, your platform here, Quasar Markets, is a symbol of that. High tech platform that begins to set the stage for the future. And this is where I think the United States wants to share. So you begin to get a pro-Japan government. Business type government. You begin to get China moving into the U.S. You begin to get the end of a Russia-Ukraine thing. At some point in time, Israel and Hamas will finalize that agreement. Peace is a wonderful thing, and it opens up the whole business world. And it allows everybody to participate. So,
Right.
I do think it's a huge positive. What we're in right now is, we start Monday off here, and it's kind of like, which way do you go here? Stocks are up, but they're coming, coming back. Last week was really a wash type of week, but you've got the politics in Japan moving positive.
Yep.
France, S&P downgraded their domestic bonds. France has got a big problem, so that means Europe has a big problem.
Yep.
You got the UK budget that's got to come up, and there's a problem there.
Yep.
And you've got the US still in a shutdown. So right now you're in this, which way do I go, George, type of attitude here. And I think that this could continue throughout the week, but I am very positive into next week.
That is a great point you just made. I'm gonna show this too as well. I think this is important. You saw where the Chancellor, Rachel Reeves, did say that Brexit has caused long-term damage to the economy. She said that over the weekend. So the UK's productivity challenge has been compounded by the way in which the UK left the EU. And of course, she's dealing with the budget issue right now. They've got a major issue over there. It's even worse than us.
Yeah, they definitely do, because the bottom line is they must raise taxes. And that is not going to go over well. I don't particularly care for her.
Right.
She's hanging a hat on Brexit as the Brexit. How many years ago was that?
Right.
I mean, come on, stop. The problem is that the UK government is just anesthetized to making any changes. They can't raise taxes because they'll risk the populace rising up, which is already happening over immigration. They've got a significant problem in the UK. So I'm not very I'm not very positive on a UK type of investment.
Yeah, to your point, she also is advocating a $40 billion a year in her budget last November of hiking payroll taxes by employers. That will probably not go over well with people in which I think they're highly taxed as it is.
Highly taxed. This is the same type of situation that France, in a different manner, is involved in. They've got to raise taxes, but they're already highly taxed. And they've got a budget deficit problem of, I think 120% of GDP right now, which, according to the EU rules, means that they should be getting slapped with penalties. But because they're the number 2 largest country in Europe, the EU backs off of it. It's a very tough situation. They're going to penalize other countries, such as threatening Italy, but they're not going to go after the France. So lots of problems around the world, which could get rectified quickly. But in Europe, the UK, it's all on higher taxes. In France, they want to raise the retirement age. Well, this would, anybody in the US is like, come on. They want to go from 62 to 64 as the retirement age. Come on.
Yeah, and you just talked about that, and we've been talking about that here, right? That the economy is not really matching the markets a little bit. And the Wall Street Journal just made a post about an hour ago, and I was just reading it myself. The warning signs lurking behind the surface of a record market, they're telling us. And it's exactly the things that we've been saying, right? Banks are in trouble, crude oil being low, home builders down. But what's up? Healthcare, utilities, and gold. Those are the things that when the market's going bad, people get scared. They buy gold. They get their home. They don't get their home, but they're not buying new homes, right?
That's right.
And here's what I this fear gauge that's come back. All of a sudden, it's come back. So CBOE's volatility, we haven't seen it like this high since like April and May, and then of course we all know what happened back in mid-April. But Jamie Dimon, Jefferies, Western Alliance, all saying the same thing. Things are bad. Cockroaches.
Yep.
And what do you do with cockroaches?
You got to stamp them out, Steve. And this is the premise of where my, thesis would go. You and I were actively involved in markets and governments, from your case, and saw what they did in 2008. The only
QE, pump the money, right? Can't do that anymore.
The only way out of this is to reflate the economy. And reflate means asset prices will go up. They will allow asset price, which means you're going to have a more acceptable level of inflation, perhaps closer to 2.5%, 3.5%, which means you're going to have growth rates of an excess of 3.5%. Which is not impossible. And that's one of,
but we haven't seen it in a long time. Why do our governments and now turn the focus right into Europe? Why is like a sub 2% growth acceptable? I mean, to me, it's not acceptable, but yeah,
exactly.
So it was acceptable to Biden.
So in this new shaping of the world that we're stepping into, growth is going to be the catalyst. They've got to stimulate growth. China dropping. Europe is a 0.5% growth. I mean, okay, people say, oh, it's 0.7. Come on, we're growing. Stop. They're not. The EU is meeting this week, as all the heads of states are meeting. Now, the number one topic is to rearm Europe, allowing them to be self-defense capable. Mm-hmm. And that is huge. Yes, that is a pro-growth stance, and this is what they're going to have to do. They're also talking about using the frozen Russian assets to provide loans to the Ukraine.
So take Russia's money, arm up in Europe. That to me pretends to be war, not pro-growth.
I don't think that would hold up in a court of law, but a pro-defense policy is going to be stimulus to growth. So you're going to get China, which is probably going to announce, I believe that the U.S. and China will get some further down the road on a trade deal, and then watch for a stimulus package out of China. And you will see that in the Japanese new politics. I think you're going to get Europe moving on this pro-defense, which is a pro-growth policy. UK, I'm not certain. That's going to be a standoff to the side. And then you've got the U.S. making all these new headways about investments in the United States. Steve, in a year's time, this is going to be a very big positive, and that's growth. And I think that that's the way out that the elected officials are going to take, because it's the easiest. They can't contract the budgets. They cannot make cuts because that falls on the shoulders of the populace. So right. I do think that we're in this period of time where you got to buy the dip, but you also have to be cognizant of the fact that when we get overextended, these sell-offs are going to be sharp and brutal. So don't go FOMO.
Don't FOMO. I'll leave it at that. Steve Flanagan, we'll see you right back here on Wednesdays. Always good to see you. And your insights are, I have been talking about them all weekend long. I've been using you. I'm waiting for your homework to be finished, where you coined the phrase of this new world order. I'm looking forward to that. So we'll push that out there. All right, we'll see you on Wednesday, my man. All right, for all of you Quasar Market Slides, thanks for being here. We'll see you right back here tomorrow morning.